Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to Japan Study Center. Today we are going to see the chapter of geography, and what is our topic today? The India between AD 750 to 1200. That is the most important chapter, and important here the point political development. The political development after the Harshvardhana about as was you have read in the last chapter can be best understood if you divided the period from AD 750 to 1200. There is a most important divided there is a period in the two part. The first year part of AD 750 to the 1000, there is an important part here, but second year AD 1000 to 1200 is also important part here. The first phase was the marked by the growth of three important political power in India. This where is the Gujra is the Pratihara. Gujra is Pratihara in the North India, and the Pala in the Eastern India, and the Rashtrakuta is the South India. There is the most important three power. There is a Pratihara, Pal and Rashtrakuta. There is a three power fighting to the each other, and there with the each other, and the aim to be set there control on the Gangotri region, northern India. There are power were constantly fighting with the each other, and the only aim here to the control the Gangotri region of North India. This is the arm confessed among these three as a power is known as a three-party struggle. There is the most important name here. In the second phase, we will notice the is a break up to the this power and resulting in the rise of many small kingdom all over the country. There is the most important. There is a rise of the many smaller kingdoms all over the country. For example, in the northern India is the disintegrations of the Partihara, and the empire is about to be of is a forefront is the various Rajput state under the control of different Rajput dynastics, such as the is the Hamans, the Chauhans, in the Chandelas, and the Brahmaras as a sector. These where are the state with a fight. They restricted the Turkish attack the northwest India led by the Mohammad Ghaznavi and the Muhammad Ghori in the 11th to 12th century, but had to the yard ultimately as a failed to stand up unitedly against the invader. There is the most important for arrive for the India Muhammad Ghaznavi and Muhammad Ghori also. Let us now trace brief of the history of the three power we have mentioned above. There is a Pratihara. The Gurjara is a Pratihara dysentery was found by the is a Nagavata. Nagavata won in the regions of the Malwa in the 8th century. He belonged to the Rajput and clan. Later on, is the successor is a Vastya Raja extend his rule over to the large part of the northern India and made a Kannauj in the western Uttar Pradesh in the capital. The Vastya Raja is a policy of expansion. The both him to be a confessed with the Dharampala in the Pal king of the Bengal and Bihar, and some the Rashtrakuta. The Rashtrakuta is the most important king. Is the Dharava from to South India jump into the fight, and thus the began with the known as the Tripartite struggle. And the struggle among the three power, it is a consist for about the next 150 years under two various succeeding king with the upas and the down. There is the Partihara. Gujara Partihara, however, could be continue to maintain there is a hold over Kannauj till the last, and he was a highly prized by the Arabians scholar Suleiman from to keeping his empire safe for the robbers. That is the most important here, a safe for robberies. And the eastern India is a Pala dysentery was founded by the Gopala the 8th century. As the name of the all the succeeding king is ending with the Pala, and this dysentery is come to now as there are Pal dysenteries, and the son as the son of the Gopala by the Dharampala and the Devpala. There is a most important Dharampala and Devpala greatly extending the power and prestige of the Pala dysenteries. And there is the expansion toward the west and the check by the Pariharas and the Pala is continued to the ruler over to the Bihar and Bengal for nearly 4 centuries with a small break. The Pala king where is a followers of their Buddhism. There is a most important Pala king where followers of the Buddhism and there is greatly is promoted his religious by the making of monasteries is a viharas and the temple in the Eastern India is a Dharmapala is known as to be founded to the famous Vikramashila. The Vikramashila is a university near to the Bhagalpur in Bihar. Other like in Nalanda University is attracted to the student from to the all part of the India and also from a Tibet. The many Sanskrit texts were translated into the Tibetans at his monasteries and the most celebrated name to associate with the Vikramshila University was that is a Assisa is a Dipankara who is greatly respected in the Tibet. In the south is a Danti Durga was the founder of the descendants called Rakshtrakuta as in century 8th century AD. The capital of the Sastrakuta was the Manukheta and the Malkid near a Solarpur. Solarpur is it is the under to the king of Dhurava and their Kuta is turned to about to the North India in the beds to a contour of Kannauj, and then the empirical cities and the mentioned above. It led to the beginning of the tripartite struggle. One of the important king of the Rashtrakutas is the centuries was a Krishna one. There is the most important here. Krishna one is he is built the famous Kailasha temple. Kailasha temple is a very famous at the Ellora near to Aurangabad and Maharashtra. It is a dedicated is a Lord Shiva and the monoliths as a made of the one single piece of rock. The Arab accountants inform us from that Rakshakuta where is a quite a friendly with the Arab trades who is a visit the empire and this trade were to allow to the build is a mosques and flow there is a religions without any hindrance. It is a testifies to be a liberal attitude of the Rakshakuta king and also there is a desire to the draw of economical benefit from to the growing and the sea trade of conducted by the Arabians at that time. In South India, the Chol king of founded a Mandali empire during to the AD 1000 to the 1200 AD. The relationship between these Chols is called the empirical Chols. With there is the earlier Chols mentioned in the Sangam literature is not a clear. The Chol come to the power after overthrowing the authorities of the Pallavas in the South India. The founder of their Chol then century was Vijay Naya is the 9th century AD. Vijay Naya is the 9th century AD but he is a real architect of the glories of the century of the Rajaraj I. Rajaraj I is the AD 9085 to AD 1014. That is the most important here. And his son Rajendra I AD 1014 to the 1044. During this heyday of the Chol Empire, it is extending from to the R. Tungabhara. Its tributary is R. Krishna in the north to the Kanya Kumari in the south. There is Chol king is made to successful use of their Navya and the conquest not only the Maldives and there is a Lakshadweep, Maldives and the Lakshadweep island but also is a Sri Lanka. And there is also defected the king of the Malaya and the Java and the Sumatra. And the one of the greatest contribution of the Rajaraj is one and the constructed of the famous temple known as the Rajarajaswara. Rajarajaswara was the Brideswara as temple and dedicated to be a Shiva at the Tanjore and he also ordered to the survey of the land of better connection of the land revenue of the empire. And the rule of the son Rajendra I was even more dazzling and he is carried the arms up to the Ganga in the Bengal after defeating the Pal king. The Mahipala to be a commemoration of their victory of the founded a new capital is called Gange, Kocha, Choharpuram. There is a very difficult is the name here and required for the himself a title Gangai Konda. You can search a Ganga he was there is a great is a potent was the learning and now was the Pandita Chola and the last important Chol king is a Kulutanga is a Kulontonga is AD 770 to 1122 AD. Under his Chol Empire started and this integrating and the shrunk to the much smaller area. That is the most important. The above count will make you understand that is thought there was a frequently inter-regional clashes and the culture growth was also taking place side by side. In fact, the emergency of big political power, both about their relative stability in different regions, it is led to be development of distracted culture pattern and the related to the art, architectures, and there is the literatures and the within each of these regions. We shall be discuss the patterns slightly later in this lesson. Here the show a political map of India. There is a 750 to the 1000 AD. There is a most important area show on the three important dysenteries. Is a Partihara, is a Pal and Dashkuta. There is a most important here belong to in this map. There is a most important area show in this map. Important topic here are nature of the state. There is a most important. They are part of India between AD 750 to the 1200. Their nature of the state here. The state structure is a period has often been to the described as a decentralized. Decentralized here is a political system. And what is a decentralized is a polity. There is a most important question here. What is a decentralized polity? It is a system in which there is of course, a king as the main authorities at the top. There is a king of the main authorities of top, but the share is a rule with the other small chiefs is called to federatrix or samantas. There is a most important. There is a like today of the political party. You may be wonder how to the samantas were. Well, the term of samanta is a basically referred to a king who has been to defeated, but his a king kingdoms has been restored to him. But there is a condition that will be a continue to accept the overlordship of the squarings, and the king also play a regular tribute to him as a cash or king. He may be also asked to the help with the military assistance and the time of need. As this chief enjoy the freedom of administrations over their regions and they are quite powerful. Surely you can guess that these chiefs could be away be a threat to be a overlord. And no is a wonder is whenever there was a weak king at the top and they would be assessed to their independent is a leadings to be a break up of the empire, and the presumably it was that happened during the last day of the Partihara empire as I mentioned above. Another aspect their decentralization politics was centralized by the practice of the making a land grant to the Brahmins and the other. This practice was initiated by the Satyavahans, the king in the 1st and 2nd century AD, but after the Gupta period, it has become a normally practice all over the country. Now, land is a grant come to the made not only to be religious person and institutions, but to state officially as well. They did not so happen, and it is a suggest that one of the reasons for the increase in the land grant during this period and was the decline in the trade and therefore the storage of the coin money to pay the officially and other for their service. The shortage of the coin money in the post-Gupta period is indicated by their absence of the presence of coin in the archaeologically is a find. And the land is granted to this is a domes and the receipt of grant was tax free. There is a donors did or not pay of any tax to the state and used to the produce and the income on its from his officially is a man managing their land denoted by him. Thus, this adornance is there is a converted to the land granted to them into the dependent island of authorities with a no or little center control. In the Chol kingdom in South India, the structure of administration was the slightly is different, and here at the village level, as a great amount of autonomy was enjoyed by their local people, and they localized after their administrations with the help of the self-selected local bodies. And two types of village is assembly are the mentioned in the records, and these were to the known as the Sava and the old is the Sava, and their assembly in the village which were inhabited predominantly by the Brahmins, whereas you are was in the known Brahminical is a settlement, and this assembly looked after the local public work, tax collection, temple management, etc. With the help of the member elected through the produce set by their villagers, it was a unique feature of the Chol administration as the represented is the harmonious is a balance between the center authorities and the local self-government. The one next topic is the most important here, a social and economical change. There is a part of here India between AD 750 to the 1200. There is the most important. The earlier is a medieval period was also marked by many social and economical changes. And social and important phenomenon of this period was the proliferations of are increasing in the number of castes is how did it happen. There is a most important question here. What did it happen? One of the reason for it was the in conclusion of the as a neighbor or group in the Brahminical society. It is suggests that is the number of land grant increasing. New areas where to the both under is a cultivation. It's a made a local tribe as a people leave to the hunting as their main professions and take of agriculture. There where is a transport made to the into the present means a farmer and the assimilated in a society as a Shudra. The land grant in fact resulting in there is a movement and migration of Brahmins to different internal area where they were are able to induce and enforce there is a Brahminical social value. The land grant is led to be increasing in the number of Kashyatha is class. The Kashyatha is where basically scribe and they are specialized in the drafting and readings and land grant of document. There is the most important here. Kashyathas is a basically scribe, especially a drafting, written and grant of document. Naturally, with increasing the number of the land grant, there is important also increased. What the most important feature of this period was the rise of the new class of people is called Rajput, such as the Chauhanamans and the Paramaharas and the Pratiharas and Chandelas, etc. And some historians is believe that they were the descendant of the various group of the foreigners is invaders such as the Shakas, Shakans and the Hushan, etc. And who has been to coming to the India from northwest is during to different time of history. And these people are gradually settled down in their regions of Rajasthan and other intermarryings within the Indian society and emerge as the warrior class. There are other who is trade them to the part of the Kshatriyas is a one of the Brahmanicals of system. But today is a many scholars see a connection between to the rise of Rajput class and the extension of the agricultural activity in Rajasthan. It is the pointed out there the spirit of the land grant there was increasing in the number of agricultural settlement. As a result, many local chiefs come to be acquired enough of financial and political power to set off an important authorities. In order to acquire legitimacy and authority of their newly acquired position in the eyes of their subjects, and they invited to the Brahmins from Gangotri and other regions to perform to them to royal rituals and ceremony. There is the most important here rituals and the ceremonies and the returns give to them to land and other things as a fee is a dakshina. There is other things as a fees is called to the dakshina. They are also made of Brahmans are written about there is a illustrations, a secretary is linking them with the Lord Rama of the solar race. And there's a Lord Krishna of the universe race to claim as a defendant to position of the warriors class. There is a most important here. Economically, their first phase is AD 750 to AD 1000 is believed to be one of the decline. It is evident from the absence of the coin from exchange and the decline a condition of the town in their northern India. But in there is a second phase after AD 1000 we are notice a various of trades activities. Not only do we have become across to new gold coin, there are also is a numerous reference to be trade, a good and town. Trade goods and the town, that is the most important, but could be a reason for it. There seem to be a two main reason for it. One, there is was increasing agriculture activity on account of land grant to the fresh area. It's a lead to the surplus is a production of good for exchange. And second, there is urban trades has emerged on the coastal area of India as important players in the international sea and trade. The Arabs had to acquire a foothold in the scene in as AD 712 and the later gradually they are set up their settlement all along the sea from the Arabia to the China. This settlement is a served as important channel for the sale and purchase of Indian goods and thus the help in the growth of Indian external trades. In the South India, the Chol king is maintained a close commercially contact with the Southeast Asia. There are Malayalas, Indonesia, etc. and the China. Here show the most important South Asia map. There is a most important for here and there is a mention of the area. There is a this time of trading system in all over the world. There is a most important map here show the all area on the world condition the Indian and there is a most important also a culture development. There is a most important and part of chapter Indian between to AD 750 to the 1200. There is a most important here. The new regional kingdoms led to the emergence of a new regional culture zone, such as Bengal and Odisha in the south, Gujarat and Maharashtra in the central India, as well as the Andhra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu in the south. There is the most important here, central India is the Andhra, Karnataka, and there is Tamil Nadu in the south. The various art form or language, literatures, etc. that form on the important part of our regional culture today. Today there is shape around the period. Most of the language such as the Bengali, Assams, Orissa, Marathi, etc. that are spoken in the southern country and the eastern part of India are some examples. The rich literature produced in this language began to replace the earlier is a monopose of Sanskrit literature. The literally is a work in the regional language were often to the composed under and the patronage of the new regional rulers. A famous work composed in the regional language and there's around this is a time under the Chols was the Tamil version of the Ramayana. That is the most important here. A Chol was a Tamil version of Ramayana composed by the Kamban. There is a most here composed by the Ramayana is the Kamban and similarly the Karnataka is a Pamba is who is regarded as one of the jewels of a famous work composed in the original language around this time under the Chol was a Tamil version of the Ramayana. There is the most important, the Chol was the Tamil version of Ramayana composed by the Kamban. And the similarly the Karnataka Pampa, who is regarded as one of the jewelers, is a Kannada literature composed of here of Bikram Arjun Vijay. Bikram Arjun Vijay is the most important composed by the Kannada language in the literatures of here is the most important here. And there is a important for the UPSC examination. And now is a popular in the Pamba Bharat in the Kannada. In the Andhra region is a Naniya is a translated some portion of the Mahabharata in Telugu. It was later completely by the poet Tikna. Tikna in the 13th century. There is a most important point here. A Chol was a Tamil version of Ramayana composed by the Kambam. And there is a Pampa who is regarded as one of Jewel's Kannada literature composed by the heir of Bikram Arjun Vijay. That is the most important. And the also important here, Nanya is a translated some portion of Mahabharata in a Telugu. That is also important. And it was later completed by the poet of Tikna in the 30th century. That is the most important for the all exam and also is a UPSC examination. However, the Sanskrit still retained a position of the importance among their elite of the language of the learning. Important word is composed in a Sanskriti around this period and where there are most important here Katha Sari Sagar. Katha Sarit Sagar. There is a most important a collection of the story. There is a most important and also important here Raj Tarangini is a vivid is account of the king of Kashmir composed by the Khalan and the Geet Govind is a piece of devotion of literature. There is a most important wording here arrived the Katha Sarita Sagar, a collection of story in a composed by Sanskriti language. And Rastarini is a vivid account of King of Kashmir composed by the Kalahan. And the Geet Govind is a piece or devotion of literature. There is a most important here. And the composed on the themes of the love between the Radha and Krishna. There is a most important here Radha Krishna love by the Jadev in the Bengal under to the Pal king. There is a most important here Radha Krishna is the love themes of represented by the is Jayadeva in a Bengal under to Pal king. Another activity that received a royal as patronage was that a temple building. There is the most important temple buildings. The temples serve as a representatives of the mind and the gallery of kings who has them to the build. The laughter of the temple, the greater was the mind reflected, and the indeed there was a defined as a correlation. The construction of large temples and their regular of maintenance of required to the mobilization work is amount of resource, both financial and human. This is could be a possible only when the particular king was the wealthy and powerful enough. The three types of temple architectures which is involved during to the period are known as the Nagara, Dravida and the Vezara. There is the most important Naga, Dravid and Vezara as a mixed style during this period. The characteristics of feature of a Nagar style of temple was the is a lofty tower as a spirit called to the Shikhara. Shikhara is the most important here. And temple built in this style where is spread over to the large part of the northern India, particularly in the central India, Gujarat, Rajasthan and Odisha. However, even within the general Nagara styles, and there is a distinctive original characteristics. Some outstanding example of the style are the is a is Garaza, is a temple of the Bhubaneswar. There is a most important link is Garaz, temple of the Bhubaneswar, the sun temple of Konark and the Kandharia is a Mahadeva temple and the built by the Chandela kings of the Khajuraho and the rest their style of the architectures is found in South India or it is a reach their height of it is the girly under the role of there is a Chol king. Some of the important characteristics of this style is the Gar Bhagira and the Vinaham and the Mandapa is the as go Purams and there is the Garbharigara is was the inner scantum that is a house there a chief that where home their temple is located there are Vinams and there is a various stories built adopt there is a Garbhagira and the mandapa was a hall with the neuros as a curved pillar placed between to the Garbhagira and the Gopurams were to the lofty gate along their high wall that enclosed the entire temple complex. An important example of this style is a Brihadiswara temple. Brihadiswara temple is built of the Chol king Rajaraja at the Tanjore. Rajaraja is at Tanjore. The Vesra is a temple represented a mixed style, and this was mostly built under to the pathanox of the Chalukya. Chalukya is and they found at the Pathadakal and near Badmi, Karnataka. There was also great improvement in the art of the making sculpture in this period. An important contribution of the Chol artists in this respect was the version image of Nataraj. This image represents of Shiva in the comics dance and the unmatched in there is a theme of a balance. There is a most important here comics dance with there is a unmatched in their themes of and the balance. Here show the Nataraja of a statue. Let's see the Nataraja as here diagrams. Here show the most important statue here Nataraja. Nataraja here the is Natarajan. The Shiva is called Nataraj. There is a most important here and there is important for the all literatures. So our next important topic here, a contact with the Southeast Asia. There is a part of India between AD 750 to 1200. There is a most important time period here. There is the contact with the Southeast Asia. India were never to such as people to stay at home, and they has been to the moving out from a same time to different part of the world for a trade and other activities. As far as their Indian contact with the Southeast Asia is concerned, it appeared to be as old as 5th century BC, and Jatak and Buddhist texts belong to this period refer to the Indian visiting Asubra Nadavapa is the island of the gold. That is the most important there. Subra Nadiva is the island of the gold and which is here identified with the Java. Such earlier contact with the Southeast Asia are confirmed by the recent archaeological is a find of pearls and ornament of the agate and the carnelian and the semi-precocious stone of India origin from the coastal sites in Thailand, Vietnam and Indonesia, etc. This find belong to as far back as the 1st century BC. According to the China tradition, their first kingdom in the Southeast Asia was founded in Phoenix is a Columbia in the 4th century and AD by the Brahmins is known as the Kundania is who had come from India and had married the local princes. However, India and the Southeast Asia's contact become closer from 5th century AD onward when to the inscriptions in the Sanskrit language and started to appearing in a many area. It reached it is a peak during AD 800 AD to 1300 when to the many kings and the scientists with the India is a name to emerge all over the Southeast Asia. There is a most important here. The Southeast contact with the largely and account of trade. Southeast Asia is rich in the cardamom and the sandals, wood and cambohors and cloves, etc., which are form an important item for trade between India and the West. Initially, the India's trade is appeared to have shuttles among their coasted, but is gradually there is shifted their network to the entire. Along with these traders is come the persist of particularly in the Buddhist and Brahmins to meet the tertiary requirement of India's shelter. It is thus a create a situation for the spirit of India's social and culture idea in the Southeast Asia. But it's the most we are noted that India's contact did is not uproot the local culture. It was rather as a case of peacefully intermixing of Indian concept with the local culture features. And therefore, for the example, will the Sanskriti was accepted as a language of court and religious and Southern Asia, the religious language continue to be used side by side and we find many inscriptions in a mixed Sanskrit and local language. Similarly, there is a concept of Brahmana was known as the South Asia as Asian and Brahmins were respected in the society, but social division were not great as it was in India. That is the most important. The most important empire which come to be found in the Southeast Asia in the 8th century AD was the Salandra. Salandra is empire. It is a compress of Java, it is Sumatra is a Malaya Peninsula and the other part of the Southeast Asia region. There is a leadings, a naval power and the overcount for there is a geographically position controlled the trade between to China and India as well as the other country in the west. The Slendra is a king were to the follower of the Buddhism. The follower is a Buddhism and had close contact with the Indian rulers. One of the kings of his empire built a monastery at the Nalanda in the 9th century. The 9th century there is most important and as his request there is a Pala king. Devapala of Bengal granted the 5 villages for the upkeeps. Similarly, in the 11th is a century, another king was promoted by the Chol king Rajaraja I to build a Buddhist monastery at the Nagapattrams on the Tamil coastal. And the Salendras has also built a beautiful temple dedicated to Buddha at the Buradar is a Java. Buradar is a Java and it is situated on the top of the hill rocks and consists of 9 gradually seated or terraces. They are most important here. Besides there Buddhism, there is a worship of the Hindu gods such as a Vishnu and Shiva was also quite a popular in South Asia. The temple dedicated to them has been to found at the various places. They show a distracted or trade of Indian influence and inspiration. One of the most famous temple dedicated the Vishnu is the Angkoravat, a temple built in the 12th century by the Surya Burma. And the two, there is a king of the Kambuja, is a Cambodia, and it is surrounded by the moat and the filled with there is a water. It has a there is a gopurams and a gateway and a number of the galleries. There is a wall of the which are there decorated with the sculpture based on the theme drawn from the Mahabharata and Ramayana.